Hey guys, what's going on? Happy day. Thank y'all so much for joining us to another podcast, another week of Unscrambled Faith. As you might see, it's a little bit different today. You're not in my typical background, nor do I look like I normally would. I'm so excited because I actually have one of my best friends, Patricia Capito, here. Before we introduce Patricia and tell y'all a little bit of background about how we met, I thought I'd go ahead and point out the obvious, that I do not have earrings on today. I know I love showing y'all what earrings I'm wearing for the day, for the week, but I'm switching up a little bit because it is summertime. We are on vacation. Therefore, I had to wear my wide-brimmed beach hat. So a little bit background about Patricia and I. I'm so excited that not only are we here on vacation together, which is so cool, yes, but the story about how we met is hilarious. And it just goes to show that timing is everything. And the thing is that it's so cool just how we came together and how we met. So long story short, how we met was her and I, we're in the same business together, and we had a training session. So we had a training session a good while back, and her and I both ended up in a different state together doing this training, which was so funny. And of course, as any training would come with, there was an icebreaker. Yes. If y'all don't already know me now, I will let y'all know in a little secret. I do not like icebreakers. So when it comes to icebreakers, I get super uncomfortable. I was sitting at the table. I'm going to paint the picture for y'all. I was sitting at the table. Everybody else was getting up and moving around and doing their thing, participating, and your girl did not want to participate. So I was just going to fake it till I make it. So I got up, started walking around, faking it out as if I was going to participate, and lo and behold, I knocked shoulders with this one here. Not on purpose. It was an accident because I wasn't paying attention. I was avoiding eye contact.
Nor was I. Just saying. We did not mean to bump into each other.
We did not mean to bump into each other, but lo and behold, we hit it off. We both found out that we live not only in the same state, but y'all, we have so much in common. And this is actually our first official trip together, which is so fun. And we are currently sitting portside in beautiful Mexico. We're having the best time of our lives. And hopefully y'all will be taking a trip pretty soon, a vacation soon, and if not, I'm putting good vibes out to the universe that you will be. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So this week, Trish and I are going to kind of banter back and forth. We've picked kind of personal, fun questions for each other. So not only do you get to hear me, but you're going to get to hear a little bit of her. But hopefully y'all like it. So it's going to be a little something different this week. Not typically normally what you hear during my podcast. But all in all, we hope y'all like it. All right, so let's go ahead, Trisha.
Okay, so the first question is, what is the best advice you have ever received and who gave it to you?
That's a tough one. I feel like that there are a couple of things that come to mind, but I think for me, I would have to go with, I love analogies. So I love any time that someone can paint a picture for me and I can visualize it. So I would say the first one that comes to mind is the fact that it's important for us to look back in our past, but not necessarily focus as much there. It's important for us to focus forward. The similarity that I would say that kind of aligns with the advice that I was given was whenever you are in a vehicle, right, it's important for you to glance back in your mirror for safety reasons.
Check it out, yeah.
Check it out, but at the same time, we don't want to stick there, right? We don't want to stay there because it's not safe. Just the same as our lives. It's important for us to continue looking forward. You don't want to look into your past. You don't want to stay stuck there, but you want to glance back and basically kind of reflect on what we've been through.
Yeah, great. Next.
Oh, and cheers to you guys. Hopefully you have your favorite beverage, no matter what that looks like. We're on vacation, so we're going to switch it up a little bit from the norm.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Trisha.
Okay.
If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
Oh, I have a good one for that. I would go back to Capri, Italy. Because everything is kind of close to that. I could visit Sicily, but the main reason I want to go back to Capri is because when we went before, it was all expenses paid from the company that we're with, and it was a wonderful trip. However, I was in a wheelchair, and so we didn't get to do a lot of the things I really, truly wanted to do, and I just wasn't in a good place. My body was not healed yet. And so Yvonne, my spouse, had to push me everywhere in a wheelchair. And how great was that? So I would like to go back there, stay at an Airbnb, and just spend a week because it's one of the most beautiful places on earth to me, and the food is delicious. So,
Absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And I love that y'all shared that memory too of her being able to like help you out. And y'all, I mean, I'm sure looking back on it, you can't help but laugh, but I'm sure it wasn't very funny in the moment.
Right, it wasn't. The laughing part now is remembering we also stopped off in Marseille, France, and we had an excursion that we did, and it was really awesome, but it was down cobblestone roads, so everybody walked everywhere there.
Oh, man.
Or the little Vespa. And but yeah, she had to push me, and it was difficult, but it was difficult for me too because going over cobblestone is like I couldn't even talk. Like when I talked, it was
it was like the vibration.
Shaking. It was crazy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That I probably more likely couldn't stop laughing from.
No,
if
right.
You're doing, like your face is in the fan.
I was kind of upset about it at first, but then I was like, meh, it is what it is. And then now I can definitely laugh about it. Back then, not so much because I was in a lot of pain. But
now we can.
But now we can. We can laugh at it for sure. For sure.
But at least you do have that core memory, and traveling, of course, to somewhere not only beautiful, but then the food. I mean, y'all. I mean,
I travel for food, y'all. Just saying.
Maybe y'all can relate to that too, because I know that's something that we both have in common. So we love food experiences.
I'm a food and flower girl. So if I can take 100 pictures of flowers and eat everything I want, I'm good.
If y'all couldn't already tell by her beautiful dress, she likes flowers.
I do like flowers. So I can't grow them. I kill everything. I try to plant, but seriously, yeah.
I love it.
I love taking pictures of them.
Very cool.
It brings me joy. So, alrighty. So your turn. What is something that you are grateful for in our friendship?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like that I can definitely, without a doubt, say that I'm so grateful for the fact that you and I seem to click on all levels. We can, y'all, her and I can have like the deepest conversations. I feel like that what is nice, we talked about this before, that we tend to ask, hey, is it okay if I get your opinion on this? Or I love that, I call her Trisha, right? So Trisha, I love that you're always approachable in a way where you're like, hey, can I get your opinion on this? Or can you offer a suggestion? Because to me, that makes me feel not only empowered, but it also makes me feel important, like my opinion is valued as well. I love the fact that we are so in sync with one another, and our friendship, I feel like it's just timeless. And we've said before, it just feels like we've been friends for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it does.
But it hasn't been that long.
I know.
Which is very cool.
With the chance bumping into somebody. So don't ever think that you can't meet somebody that is just right there 100% for you just by bumping into them at the mall, at a party, at a restaurant, wherever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so,
I love that so much. And if y'all have been watching me for a while now, I did briefly talk about in a previous podcast about how it's so amazing to me that in my late 30s that I'm meeting my best friends, that I feel like that it's been quite the journey of getting to this point. But I feel like I've always said too that nothing happens by accident. And I feel like that I was in a better place mentally for me to be able to be accepted of the fact that I was meeting these people. Mm-hmm. And these individuals have become over time what I would refer to as my best friends otherwise. So,
yeah. It's awesome because I feel also, I know I'm not answering the question totally, but I do want to say this, that I feel like Megan sees me not as... just not as her friend, but we're almost like family now.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's very because I have family that doesn't agree with myself for different reasons.
Yeah,
and I'm not judged by her. So
no, yeah,
and that's means so much to me. So
I love that. Yeah. That's good. Okay, all right, Trisha, you're up.
Yay!
Take a sip.
Let me take a sip.
All right, let's see. How do you like to take care of yourself and prioritize your well-being?
Well, I think this goes back to travel because I like to travel a lot. I get a massage every single month. I feel like my body tenses up when I get stressed, and I do have fibromyalgia, so just getting that extra, for myself. So that I like to take care of myself in that way. I'm not a big facial person, but when I'm on vacation, I like to do that.
Yes.
So physically, that kind of thing. Other than that, I'm learning as I go from the genius herself.
Oh, man.
About boundaries.
Yes.
Because I have formed some boundaries over the last year and a half that people don't understand. And they don't have to, because it's not for them, it's for me. And so life is, we talked about that earlier, life is so short. Why be around the people who are tearing you down or making you feel less than? You know, I think just knowing my worth.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, knowing my worth, and that I'm just as worthy as the next person. So
true.
That's how I tend to take care of myself now, is by forming those boundaries.
Yes, I absolutely love that. Yeah, and I love too that, you know, boundaries in itself, I feel like, is a term that is pretty broad in itself. Yeah. But I feel like that it's almost like a double-edged sword. I mean, it's a win-win, because I feel like that when you are setting boundaries, you're not only, again, taking care of like your self-care, like your internal self-care for yourself, right, but also I feel like that it's a healthier environment. It's a healthier setup for those that are in your community, those around you, because that way you're not only establishing the boundaries for yourself, but then you're also making those that are making up your family the way that you want to create your family.
Right.
And, you know, those that are in that community that you refer to as family, you're letting them know as well, like, these are my boundaries. And I think that that's a healthy dynamic to have.
It's very healthy. And I would not have done this without her, because, no, I'm so serious. Because for years, there's just been certain things that have destroyed me, have brought me down and whatever. And if I just would have turned my back at that time, we wouldn't have had that problem.
Yeah.
And I don't mean turn your back like never speak to these people again or whatever. It's not that. It's just they don't have the power to steal your joy anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good.
And that's what it is, because I still talk to these people. I'm just like, I'm not going to prioritize what I do for them or how I live my own life.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Well, you're keeping them at arm's length.
Exactly.
You know, because, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like that when it comes to setting boundaries, there are going to be certain times where we have to, unfortunately, make exceptions, where there are certain people that we just can't get rid of them, right? Like, we have to keep them at arm's length. I know.
Just kidding.
Rats. But there's some people where I'm like, bless and release. People come and go in our lives for a reason. Right. There's a certain time, there's a certain period of time when it's like, okay, our season is over and it's time to bless and release them. But there are other times where I feel like that, you know, y'all might be able to connect with this in a way where there are going to be individuals in our lives that, for certain circumstances, that they're always going to be there. But where we do individually have the control is how often are they going to be there, and what great lengths are we going to go to make sure that we keep space and keep the peace. Oh, yeah. You know, because just going back to like our mental health, it's important for us to put ourselves first.
Right. Not just physically taking care of yourself, but mentally as well.
Definitely. So, yeah. I agree for sure. All right, let's see. So
that was yours. This is
so then I'm up.
Okay.
So right there.
Right
What's
there.
something? Yeah.
Okay. What is something that has been on your mind lately, and how have you been dealing with it?
That's a good one. That one's deep. I would say the first thing that definitely comes to mind is I feel like that there are, kind of, in a way, actually, this kind of comes into play with what we just were talking about with, you know, when there's individuals, outliers, so to speak, in our area, in our community, that we just can't get rid of, or we're not able to get rid of. But I feel like that lately, it seems like that there are circumstances and individuals that are kind of in my area that I'm crossing paths with that are telling me how to feel, or that are trying to things or people that are trying to like bring me down and change my spirit and my peace, and I feel like that we'll have seasons. I'm having a season right now where I feel like it's very combative, where I'm still trying to just go back mentally to like how far I've come, how much work I've done for myself, because I feel like that there are outliers currently that, whether it's media, right, like what's coming across, and not clicking on it, right, like not taking the bait, not clicking on it, and just keep moving forward and keep focusing on, you know, what brings me joy, you know, what brings me peace, and, you know, deciding, you know, and in a way it's almost like I file away. Like if someone comes to me, which they have recently, when individuals have come to me and they tell me things that are contradicting to either how my beliefs or how I feel or anything whatsoever, I feel like I have to put my foot down and then be like, no, because I don't want to undo all the work that I've done,
You work too
for
hard
myself.
for it.
And
Sure.
it's a non-negotiable basically with me. And it's not always going to be easy, right? It's not always going to be easy, but I feel like it's important because at the end of the day, like, I want my peace, and I will go through hell and high water to make sure that no one rocks the boat, basically, in my world.
May I say something?
Sure.
Does anybody know how old she is? So, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, we don't need to tell anyone.
We're not
that,
going to
but
talk about age.
We'll let y'all guess.
But we can say that she's an old soul. Because if I'd have known 30 years ago the things that she's teaching me now, I wouldn't have. Things would have been so different.
Yeah.
I won't say I wouldn't have. I'll just say things would have been different.
Yeah.
But I'm happy where I am right now. But
I agree.
just
Yeah.
what she's, yeah.
But I also feel like if that was applied to me as well, like if I was to be able to go back in time, which I know that all of us at one time or another have those moments where, like, man, if I could go back and I can change this or I change that.
We
but
change a lot.
But my thing is too, at the end of the day, I honestly wouldn't, because if I did, her and we wouldn't be here today,
Right.
and I wouldn't be preaching, or I wouldn't be talking about the things that I'm passionate about, and this podcast wouldn't exist, that's for sure.
Right.
My mentality would be so different. So yeah, I always think about that too. Like, I do have moments in time where I'm just like, man, if I could just go back and change it, I would. But the thing is we have to remember that if I or you as the audience had that opportunity to go back and change something, it completely alters everything else. There's consequences to that.
Right. That little effect that one little
Yes.
change can change
Everything, the course of time. Yeah,
Sure,
I agree.
sure.
For sure. All right, let's see here. What's something that you're looking forward to in the coming months or years? So that sounds to me kind of like it could be like a two-part
It is.
question.
I'm going to answer a two-part for sure.
I love that.
Okay, because something I'm looking forward to is we have a company-wide, what do we call that?
A convention, yeah.
Like a convention, and it's called SFR. And I'm so happy to go. I'm so happy to introduce people to other people, and I'm thrilled that our leaders are coming back who've been on mission for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I just know I'm gonna be wrecked.
Yeah.
So I have to bring lots of tissue.
Lots
with
of
me.
tissues. Yes.
But I'm excited about that because I also have 20 of my team members going, which is
So cool.
that's huge
That's
to
incredible.
me. So I have that, and then in the future, what am I looking forward to? Okay, that part. That's just going to be fun, and that's next month, and I'm so excited about it. But truly excited about something for the future is retirement.
Ooh, yes.
Not necessarily for myself, but for my spouse.
Preach.
And it's, yeah.
That's going to be incredible.
We're not, and I think I told you this earlier, we're not promised tomorrow. So
Yeah, amen.
you got to do what you can do while you can.
So
But
true.
man, you got to also, being retired will free up a lot of time. So that'll help. So
For traveling. You
Yeah,
gotta get your
we're just
travel
gonna-
buddy back.
Exactly. Ooh, I love to travel, guys. I love it.
So cool. Thank you so much. I really love that question.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Let's see what I got.
All right, let's see. Yeah, I think 4.
Okay. What is the biggest risk you've taken in your business, and was it worth it? That's the first part. Then, what did you learn from the experience?
Oh man. See, I knew what I was getting into when you and I were just talking. We were just talking about this one, and I was super hesitant. I was like, "Do I want to pick this one?" I'm like, "Woo!" It gives me chills just thinking about it. But here's the thing, y'all. My thing that I would say that I have done, because I have been in business for almost 5 years. So almost 5 years this October, and I will say this: whether you know me and we're in the same business together, or if you're watching this and you are in a completely different business, you work 9-to-5 job, if you're in business for yourself, the scariest, craziest, smartest thing that I ever have done, and will probably have to do time and time again, is just wiping the slate clean.
Ooh.
Can we just have a moment for that? Can we?
That makes me nervous.
Wiping the slate clean. Like, that, y'all, like, mic drop on that. Like, that's heavy in itself, right? But I feel like the thing is that as a business owner myself, as we are business owners, I feel like that the greatest thing that I could have done for myself was when everything, like, I was getting complacent. I feel like that it was kind of cruise control in my business. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. But it was just kind of stagnant. And I needed to shake things up. And I've learned that not only with my faith, but I've learned that in my business, with my friendships, with my marriage, that when things go stagnant, when it's almost too calm, then I'm like, you know what? It's time to shake things up. It's time to shake it up. And I feel like for me, I really, truly needed to start, like I said, with a clean slate. And so for me personally, that meant changing and altering the way that I communicated with my team. It meant completely changing upside down the way I ran my business.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that this is not saying that go big or go home. Because for me, I felt like I had to, it was almost like Legos or building blocks, where I feel like I had to take it like one step at a time. And I was like, okay, I really want to wipe the slate clean in this area, and let's just see what happens. And then once I did that, then I feel like that I reevaluated. I looked on it and reflected back on it. And it was like, okay, is this something that I could keep progressively doing? Is this something that I did for the greater good? Or maybe do we need a pause on this and then come back to the way things were? So I feel like for me...
Can you give them an example of what you're talking about? Because I think it may be kind of hard for some people who are not where we are to understand this. But like your biggest example, I could say. But go ahead.
Yeah, you could, what came to mind? What were you thinking about?
Your Facebook group.
Yes, y'all. Okay. Yes, y'all, for sure. Yeah, that was one thing that her and I have had the biggest debate on. But again, that's...
I love it. We debate, but we're still, hey.
Yes, because that's the thing, is that we're both involved in the same business, y'all. If y'all didn't know this, we're both involved in the same industry, but we run our businesses and we lead our teams so different from one another. But what I love, though, at the end of the day, is that we are able to just kind of combat back and forth and share notes and ask advice and all the things. And it's great. It's healthier for us. So, yes, I will definitely touch on that. So, when it comes to social media, I would say the vast majority of the beginning of my business and with my team was on social media. We were on Facebook. I ran a Facebook group with them. And I feel like that after a while, going back to the magical word of complacent.
Okay. I was going to say COVID kind of forced that. You said the C word.
No,
That's the only C word I know.
I actually started that from the beginning. And so, y'all, like, I joined and I became my own business owner in 2019, right? And I, from the get-go, started a team page. Even though I had an extremely small team, I still wanted to have that connection and that closeness. So I knew from following other friends that were small business owners that they had their own team groups on social media, on Facebook, and I felt like that I was like, okay, what they're doing seems to be working and it's successful for them, so I'm going to do it the same for myself, and I'm just going to follow suit and then roll with the punches and just see where it goes. And you know what? It rightfully served a purpose because of the lovely Pammy that we went through. We'll call it that. It sounds a little bit more friendly. We're going to call it the Pammy. But when we went through that time, it was so imperative, I feel like, in that like 2-year period to have a group, because a lot of the incredible individuals that are on my team are not local to me. They are out of state. They're within a couple hours from where I'm at. So having that camaraderie, having that team group was incredible, and it was very necessary, because I feel like that it gave us the opportunity for us to be able to touch base with one another, connect, all the things. After a while, it kind of got to where for me it was very repetitive, and Trisha and I have talked about this before, and I remember telling you that I got to a point where when I was still doing the normal things on my team page, that it was just kind of sucking the joy for myself.
Right.
And that was hard, because her and I have talked about this too, where I almost debated on keeping the group for the sake of the group and not really for myself. But considering I was the one that was the admin, I was the one that was solely running the page.
Right.
That's where I feel like I had to make that really tough decision, y'all. And I used to be a bit of an impulse person. And to be fair, there are certain points in my life where I am still impulsing. But when it came to...
No.
Not me. But when it came to my team, I really, truly sat on it for about a year. And I remember telling her that. I said, I'm going to give myself a year I want to put all I have into this group, and I'm just going to see what comes about. And the scariest thing for myself was I put so much pressure on my team page. Yeah. And I was like, what if, those are the two magical words, right? What if? So what if I get rid of this team page and everything goes to hell in a handbasket? You know, my team turns upside down. What if this was the one thing, like the glue that was keeping everybody together, and if I shut the team page down, it's all going to fall apart? That was the scariest thing. I thought getting rid of my VIP group was the scariest thing. Yeah, she can't handle that.
No.
We don't talk about that often.
Yeah, not often.
Those are words we don't bring up.
I'll give my 2 cents when you're done. I'll give my 2 cents.
Gut-wrenching. but team page, y'all, so if you guys are watching this, and no matter what line of work you're in, no matter what industry you're in, and if you are leading a team, here's the thing. What I have learned is that it is okay, for one, it is okay. I'm giving you permission. Because I honestly watched a training where this individual leader gave me permission, because she was doing the same thing. She was doing a training, and she said, I got rid of my team page. And I was like, you did what? What? I was like, no. But I'm glad I did it, because the important factor is that if you, as the viewer, decide to do something like this, like I did, it's important to have a idea of how you're going to connect with your team. Because
that's what I was going to say.
Yes, because you can't. Yeah, you can't just dissipate communication altogether, and that goes to show that that's why I gave it a full year, because I said that if I get rid of this group, if I get rid of this team page, there absolutely has to be a way that I am communicating, and I have to work a little bit harder with communicating, and it's going to look a little bit different. But you can't just ghost. Like, and to me, I will say, in all fairness, there were a couple of team members. I did ruffle their feathers a little bit with getting rid of the team page. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is that, like Tricia was saying before, our mental health, wellness, so important. It's number one. And for me, it was sucking my soul.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad that I get rid of it. I'm glad I got rid of it, because it wasn't fun for me anymore. It wasn't serving a purpose. And the thing is that, y'all, Tricia and I are in such an incredible business and a line of work that there are so many other opportunities for my leaders, the team that I'm incredibly gifted to have.
Attention, may I have your attention, please? This is to inform all team members that in a few seconds, all watertight doors located on deck Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and splash tight doors located on
That's
deck
vacation,
0
y'all. Sorry, we're on a
will
cruise.
be closed simultaneously from the navigational bridge. Please pay attention and keep clear from the doors.
This would be
Thank
where
you.
commercial break comes in. All right,
Okay.
Commercial break's over.
Okay. Can I say something
Yes,
about what
go
you
ahead,
did?
please.
Okay. So the reason why we're so different on that, and I love that she said we're so much alike, but
So
we're
different at the same
so
time.
different.
Yeah.
Because we do things so differently. One of the things is the VIP page and the team page. Okay. I'm not, what do you call it? And then I lost my word, of course. But I'm disciplined. I'm not disciplined enough to, and it takes self-discipline, because you're the one I'm the one running my business.
Yes.
I have to make sure that I contact you.
Yeah.
I don't see how she does it, because I can't remember to write down something on my to-do list, much less make sure that I'm contacting all of my people, whether it be VIPs or teammates.
Yeah.
So I still have those 2 pages.
Yeah.
And it's important to me, I guess, because I don't like change, and the fact that she has wrapped this all in a pretty little box with a beautiful bow, and she could be like, no, I don't have a team page. No, I don't have a VIP page. This is, and I'm like,
But it was
okay.
one thing after another, though.
But most of those people are on your personal page too.
Yes, which that
Okay,
does
so
help. That does help, y'all.
That does help.
Yeah.
All of my team are on my personal page, but not all of my customers are.
Yeah.
I love my customers, but not all
Mine too.
are there.
Yeah, like
So-
I do have certain customers that are either they do have a social media page, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or if they do have it, they don't get it on it as often. So you do have to find like out of the box simple ways to just connect with them. It doesn't have to be very often. A lot of times for me, I love being able to have a reminder on my phone that lets me know when it's a team member or a customer's birthday. Right?
Right.
Or a team member's work anniversary. That
She
way I
does a
can
lot,
send a
just
card.
saying.
I can send a card. Y'all, like, we both have big time ADHD. We're big squirrels. Go squirrels.
Go squirrels.
Go squirrels. Yay. Intro, you owe me a bottle of wine. Did y'all hear that? We jinxed each other. I'm not taking a Coke on this cruise. I'm taking a bottle of wine. But I feel like the word I was thinking of earlier was intentionality.
Yeah.
Intention.
You have to be intentional.
You have to be intentional. And I don't want y'all to think that I am this super duper organized, got it together. No, I'm not. This other person.
She's way more organized than me.
Well,
just saying.
I will say that your phone is your best friend. Alarms. I set alarms for everything. I can't just have one to-do list or one calendar. Right. I have to have multiple. So I have a content calendar that's in my office.
ADHD though.
ADHD
correct?
big time. Yeah. I have to have multiple things, not just one thing. So don't feel like one thing that her and I, like we've talked about over the last couple years that we hear a lot about in our business, and maybe y'all have too, is systems. That can either be a gut-wrenching word, or it's like, oh, I love systems. I love them. But for me, I'm like, I don't like systems. But here's the thing.
I don't like the word at all anymore.
No, but here's the thing is that I feel like that we automatically jump to the fact that there has to be one thing or another.
Or there has to be a new system.
Yes, every time.
Because what you do daily, whether it's getting up and you brush your teeth, or you take a shower, or you make your bed, that's all part of your system.
Yeah, agreed.
And, but I never looked at it that way until it became a business system. Mm-hmm. And so there are things I do every day in my business.
Yeah.
And
that one eye opener, y'all, that I had about a year ago, and this is where it was a game changer for me, is that we actually all individually, like Trisha just said, we all individually have systems in place. We're just not really aware that we're doing systems.
Right.
Like she just said, like right out the gate, the things that we take for granted, taking a bath or a shower, like she said, brushing our teeth. Some of us may or may not make the bed, things like that. That is a system. We just don't necessarily categorize it in a term of this is a system. So do it, at the end of the day, do what works best for y'all. All these things are temporary. So let's just say overnight, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do a team page all over again. We can do that.
Right.
I could go back and I could redo it and I could rebuild it if I wanted to. And who's to say in the future I may or may not do something like that. But I feel like
it's just right now is not that time.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. And I feel like I had to put myself first. And I feel like when it comes down to it, it's almost like when you think about any other business. So anyone who owns like a chain business, y'all know that things you have to roll with the flow, ebb and flow. The world is changing, technology is growing, and to me, I've always felt like it's important to roll with the punches and continuously rebrand, renew ourselves. Pivot, girl. Pivot, y'all. Pivot. My favorite word. Pivot. Are y'all Friends fans? Y'all know pivot. But yes, that is so, so important. Do we have anything else that we want to discuss?
I believe we might have one.
I think we had like one or two more.
Let's see. Okay.
This one right here. Yep. That's me.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
We could both answer it.
No. Oh, yeah, that's good because we're both kind of answering it anyway. Yeah. So you read it there.
Okay. So looking back on your journey so far, what advice would you give to your younger self just starting out? So for us, it's Scentsy. So what advice would you give your younger self when you started your business with Scentsy?
Best advice I ever got from anyone, one of the people that have boundaries now, but the best advice I could get was, or what I can tell you happened, a lot of times things happen in our life and they're gut-wrenching or they destroy you, okay? Like the death of my aunt. And my Nana passed away before her, but she was kind of the last living legend of our family, And so when she did pass away, it was very, very hard for me to grasp the fact that I actually had a business and needed to be running it.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to quit. Well, this person said very plainly, don't quit on the hard days. This is a very hard day for you, and which she didn't understand. It was a hard season. It was a hard year. It wasn't just, I'm sad. No, it destroyed me. So emotionally, pretty bad. Yeah. So, but as I worked that out myself, I came back. So it was I just took a break. So like if you're having really bad times, whether it be emotionally or just something, like whatever it is, step back. Don't quit. Don't quit. Just, you can't quit on life. You can't quit on your job. You can't quit on your family. I mean, you could, but what good is that? What good is it for you to do that?
Yeah.
It's none. So my thing is definitely step back, take a break, don't quit on the hard days. That's my best advice I can give. Or that's the advice that was given to me.
Yes, absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, we're going to go out with a bang, and I'm going to answer it myself. So, the advice that I could give my younger self, and I'm thinking like personally like my childhood self. So advice that I could give, let's just say 8-year-old little Megan.
Little Megan.
Meh. Is I would say to not be afraid of who you are. That.
Wow. Yeah.
Woo. I just got chills. That's a little emotional, y'all. To not be afraid of who you are, who you're meant to be. The thing is that anything that's worth fighting for is never going to come easy. And you're always going to make it to the other side of things. So, love what you love. Love who you love. Do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, freaking don't apologize for it.
Don't apologize.
And your adult self. Ooh, I got chills. Your adult self's going to thank you for it. And y'all, if you find you're in a place like we are, I'm just rediscovering myself. I'm rediscovering what brings me joy. I feel like this past year I've been on a journey. My truth is healing my internal younger self to where I'm, whether it's buying or looking into or watching or whatever the case may be, anything that makes my heart happy, I'm going for it. Anything that we call it glimmers now. So if you've heard with glimmers, if you're having small glimmers in your life, yes, go for it. If you and that's anything like beverage, food, clothing, movies, anything. If you're at a store, if you're online, if you find that you're wanting to pick up a new book and read it, if it makes your heart smile, go for it. Because to me, that's going to propel you even further into healing not only that internal self, but you'll have so much more joy in the long run. And I feel like that's going to pay itself off tenfold for the people, again, that we talked about, your friends and your community. It's going to bring, I feel like, this happiness, a glow to you, glow to us, that there's just no comparison to it. So,
yeah.
You got anything else you want to add?
No, I was fixing to add something and totally forgot. Something about those little glimmers, It's important to be mindful when they come about and you see them, because to me, all my glimmers come from my Nana. So if it's a memory, if it's like when she's saying, whether it be food or candy I said candy, food or candy or traveling to a certain place or eating at a certain restaurant or wearing a specific fabric, whatever. All these things, all these little glimmers, to me, I go back to my childhood and I'm like, what does little Trisha need today? What does she need today? If you could look back on your former self, your younger self, and say, there's a lot of trauma there. So in that, now I'm so much older. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 40 years older. Seriously. I mean, that's scary. I'm 40 years older. That I see it in my grandchildren now, and I'm like, I don't want them to go through the same that I went through. So, so
good. I love that so much.
Watch out for those glimmers, y'all.
Yeah, we love glimmers. All right, y'all. So that's a wrap. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Stay tuned. I will be back at home, the usual.
With earrings.
You got it right. With earrings, y'all. I can't wait to show y'all a pair of earrings that I did not remember to bring with me on this trip. So that will be, stay tuned. That's what's going to happen this next week. Till then, y'all, have a good one.
Bye.